I entered my first ever Pokemon tournament and it was amazing. But before I tell you about how good I did or how bad I did at this tournament, I gotta tell you how I got there. About 2 months ago, as you can even see on this YouTube channel, I really started taking competitive Pokemon seriously. I showed up at my first ever in-person event at a gaming store called Old World Gaming. I showed up with an off-the-wall Regulation F team that had Tyranitar, because this was before Reg G was legal, mind you. And somehow I managed to get 3rd place. And if you don't believe me, I even have a picture of it. And after getting 3rd place, I decided I'm gonna go do a couple more locals. But the regulations changed and we went to Reg G. And what that means is we're allowed 1 restricted legendary, which is your favorite box art Pokemon. And it changed the entire metagame. Now, I've never played restricted format, and many people have, so I was already behind. And I even decided to put myself more behind and use a legendary everyone thought was going to be trash. I thought I was going to use a nice counter to the metagame and use Zacian. Now Zacian, I used honestly just because it's a cool dog, but I put it on a wonky team. It had a T-Tar, it had a Salamence, it was all over the place, but I thought it was going to be the nice meta call. So I showed up to my first local of Regulation G, and my first opponent happened to be a Zacian. Like what? Keep in mind, the Zacian was being used by a buddy of mine named Kian. Now keep in mind, we were using similar-ish teams, but mine had a T-Tar in it, but nevertheless, it was a long 3 rounds. Kian ended up winning the game, winning the set, but whatever. You know, there's still more rounds to be played. But your boy decided to go 0-3 at that tournament. So it was not looking good, especially when I decided to sign up for my first ever regional. And the regional was only like less than a month away. So it was not looking good for your boy. But thankfully, the first regional of this regulation was gonna happen, and it was Indianapolis. But also at the same time, there was another local going on. So I decided to use a team that I saw on stream that actually did kind of well, and I used a Miraidon. Now Miraidon was another slept on monster, but that electric dragon was going crazy, and I thought it can go crazy for me too. And it did, but didn't. I ended up going 3-2 at my local. It was okay, not bad, whatever. But I was still like another 2 weeks away from LA, and it was not looking good. But with still only 2 weeks left to LA, and no team that I had in sight doing well, I really needed to sit down and look in the mirror. And I sat down and I had to tell myself, no more using trash mons. So T-Tar, I'm sorry, I know you're my favorite and you're on every team, but you had to go. But I was still going to use what was called seen as a trash mon, and my boy Zacian, I still just had the belief in it. So I decided to do what everybody thinks black people love to do, and use that 5-finger discount on my boy Kian's team, and I stole that shit. Now when I say I used a 5-finger discount, I really mean 5 fingers, because I stole 5 of his 6 mons. And you might be asking, why did I only steal 5? Dude had an Umbreon, and to me it just made no sense, and he didn't have an instant on his team, so I was just gonna slap whatever looked good, and use the quote-unquote best mon in the game, and just slap an instant on my team. Now after I stole this team, honestly there was only 1 week left until the regional, and I had to practice. And in practice, I went into random tournaments on Limitless VGC, and the best I did was a 2-4. So it was still not looking good for your boy, but hey. Tournament was a couple days away. My girlfriend was coming into town because I decided to invite her on this trip. So there was no time for me to even play the game once she got here. So I just had to lock my team in and pray for the best. Now with the team I locked in, of course your boy was bringing Zacian. Here's his stats and EVs. I don't know, I just kind of threw the slider around. It felt kind of good. I think it kind of carried. I did my thing on that one, but it was all luck. Now I needed some way to back up the firepower of having a Zacian, and I needed to boost its attack even more, especially if an instant was going to come around. So I brought Chen-Pao. Now Chen-Pao also helped me deal with instants extremely well. Sacred Swords were really nice. Sucked if it got intimidated, but for the most part it put down immense damage and had priority attacks and Sucker Punch. Now next, I needed a way to outspeed opponents because what is this game without speed? So I brought Tornadus. Prankster Pokemon, stupid ability, I know, whatever. I had to use it. I mean, I'm trying to win some games, so I brought him. So now that I have a set of 3, I might as well just get a nice Firewater Grass backbone, and that's exactly what I did. As I said earlier, on this team that I jacked, I put Instant instead of Umbreon, and Instant is Instant, but I made it a little bit different. I decided to make him fast as fuck. Look at those stats. 252 invested in speed and jolly. My boy's out here ready to run a track meet and beat Usain Bolt. Now I got a fire type, I need a water type, and what water type is better used than the boy Urshifu? Stupid, it attacks to protect. I know, I had to use it, and especially with this terror type of ghost, allowing it to not be faked out at all. But if you brought your instant in front of me, I was just walking right through it. Now I needed one more mon. Why not add the best grass type in the game with another fake out pressure mon besides instant Rillaboom? You know how it goes. Those two together, hilarious. Now I got a team of 6 and my girlfriend's here. It's time for me to just pray for the best and show up to the tournament, which means I did not practice for 3 whole days. Now, honestly, might have been good for me, might have been bad for me. I'll let the tournament results speak for itself. It's officially Friday morning though, so now it's time to hop on that flight with my girlfriend, head down to LA, which is really not a flight. It was only like 1 hour because I'm in Arizona, but hey, it was fun. Now once I get to LA, check into the regional so I don't have to come in early on Saturday morning, even though I still got to show up at 7 o'clock. It's hard for your boy to wake up early, I'm not gonna lie. But now I'm checked in and it's Friday night, and I have 2 goals heading into Saturday on this tournament. 1, make it on stream somehow. I don't know how I plan on getting there, but I plan on getting on stream. And 2, just go positive at my first regional. I just don't want to go, spending the amount of money I did to get there and play, and come home just having completely bombed that. But with these 2 goals in mind, I knew I was going to need to start off undefeated at this tournament. And walking all the way to that tournament, I felt kind of nervous. No practice in 3 days, your boy might have been rusty. Now I get to the tournament, I hang out with a couple of my boys for a minute, and then it's time to sit down as round 1 pairings are up. Now round 1 pairings get posted, and I get even more nervous. I see my opponent is about to take my virginity, pause, and VGC. It's Nathaniel Christmas. Never heard of the guy, but once I got to the table and I talked to him a little bit, turns out, dude used to be a top tier competitor back in the day. So I'm a little bit even more nervous, and it's time for round 1 to start as the judges let us know. And round 1 starts, and nobody has internet. Like, I'm kidding you, the entire venue, there's like 700 people, no internet. So the nerves are running higher and higher. I'm still waiting for this game to start. Like 1 hour goes by, still nothing. It's insane. Like, damn, I woke up at 7 a.m. for this shit. I'm trying to play. Another hours go by, nothing. Like, I'm sitting here talking to my opponent somewhat, walking around talking to the homies, and a lot of people are thinking about quitting. Then another hour goes by, and they're like, all right, we're gonna run it back again. Try to turn on the internet. Now keep in mind, I've still yet to see what my opponent is bringing to the game. I'm making small talk, not trying to let my opponent what I have either. So I'm just getting nervous. I'm just trying to play this game. I'm seeing some top level competitors come talk to him, and I'm like, damn, I might be fucked here. And it made it worse, especially when somebody looked at his team, was like, oh, you brought that? Kind of laughed and was like, we'll see how that goes. Had me a little nervous, but also kind of had me feeling maybe he brought something stupid that I could beat. But you never know. It was my first event. But again, the internet's not working. They sent us on lunch break, which they made it like a funny joke, like, oh, you guys are now on lunch break. Like, dog, it's 11 o'clock. I'm just trying to play this game. Talking to my girlfriend because she showed up at like 9 thinking we'd be a round or 2 deep. Bad? No. She had to sit through and suffer. But we did walk around and go buy some Pokemon. It was fun. But they finally come back from lunch break. It's time to start round 1. The internet is finally working, thank God. My opponent hands me his team sheet, and I see what they were laughing at. As you can see right there, he brought a Snorlax. I'd never seen that before. I haven't seen it in like 3 regulations. I'm not gonna lie. I've used it in a video, and I didn't even think it was that good. But hey, it gave me a thought that I might have a chance. So we load into round 1. He leads off with Indeedee Snorlax, and I lead off with Tornado Sinton. I'm gonna tell you, I got whooped game 1. Like 3 turns, it was done. Game 2, try to switch it up myself. I think I brought Urshifu and Ensign, and then he just left Calyrex Shadow Rider. I got bopped again. Like, I was done in like 5 minutes. First round cooked. Dream of going on stream was basically done because I was gonna need to at least start off 2-0 to even have a chance to get on stream. So that dream, to me, felt dead. Unless I somehow managed to climb my way back and just go almost undefeated for the rest of the day. But I was defeated. I went and talked to the homies. Not gonna lie, some of them lost too, so I didn't feel too bad. And then, while we were talking again, round 2 pairings go up. And while round 2 pairings go up, I go to my table, I sit down and wait. And my opponent does not show up until like almost the 5-minute marker. And when he gets there, he's looking like he lost something, so he disappears again. I'm still nervous, trying to just get my first win. I haven't even won a game, let alone a round. My opponent finally comes back with what he needs. He sits down. Dude does not want to make any talk. He pretty much just hands me his team sheet and he's ready to go. And he hands me this. So, it's kind of a normal looking team. Except I get bopped again. Dude didn't even bring his legendary once. But I got bopped on my own fault. Game number 1 starts off great. We get down both to our last 2 mons. He has Raging Bolt. But with game 1, it was all my fault. We got down to the game. We had 2 Pokemon left each, and he had Raging Bolt and Ensign. And I had Chien-Pao and Rillaboom. Now, all I honestly needed was my Chien-Pao to just hit Icicle Crash into his Raging Bolt, and I would have wrapped that game up. But no, I missed. And it's not gonna be the first time I miss a move. And I lose that set. It's just over from there. So, game number 1's over. I go into game 2 just like kind of pissed off, full hyper aggression mode. Your boy gets cooked again in like 3 seconds. I swear to God, the first 2 rounds, I was like the first person done. So your boy started off 0-2. It's not looking good. I'm not gonna make stream at this point. I'm not gonna make day 2, which you basically have to go 7-2 out of the 9 rounds. I already got 2 losses. And now my other goal of just even going positive is not looking good. I haven't won a game. I've already hit 2 of the losses I can have. And to go positive, I need to go 5-4 because there's only 9 rounds. Talk to the homies, let them know I'm getting cooked. I got one of the other boys getting cooked too, but it was also his first event, so hey, whatever. So round 3, it's time to start. I tell you I wasn't the first person done this time. It's not for a good reason. It's because the internet did not work for our game again. We DC'd like 5 times and we saw each other's leads. But dude was running a mirror match, as you can see. It was kind of interesting, especially since I had not seen any of the Zacians running around, but my boy Kian, who I knew was playing, and at this time was 2-0. Now we finally get into the first game. It's a close set. It comes down to my Zacian versus his Zacian at the end, but my Zacian just overcomes. As surprisingly, I had a faster Zacian than I think most people. As surprisingly, I think I had the fastest Zacian at the tournament. Now going into game 2, again, we kept DCing before it even started, but we loaded in and I whooped my opponent real fast in like 3 turns. I just led Urshifu for the first time and it did a madness. And that was kind of good. I needed that win under my feet, and it was kind of nice to see. Maybe I need to start bringing Urshifu. Maybe I need to bring Urshifu to my games, because at this point, I had like brought it one other time. Now going into game 4, I had my hopes up, I finally won a game. I just needed to win another game to keep stacking these wins. But I run into a little bit of an unorthodox team, and it's a Ho-Oh. And Ho-Oh kind of scares me, I'm not gonna lie. Now when you see my team, yes, I shouldn't be afraid of Ho-Oh, obviously. Just run through it with Water Ursh, which I should have done in the first game, especially considering the rest of his team was like Rockmons. But I didn't for some reason. And game 1 was very stressful, especially when it came down to the end. And I had a burned Zacian and an Incineroar on my team versus a straight up Ho-Oh that kept recovering like every other turn. Now I thought it was over for me, but somehow I hit a Behemoth Blade crit and I got a Flare Blitz that just did enough damage, and he for some reason just decided not to target my Zacian. I think since he thought it was burned, he could leave it alone, which allowed me to Sword Dance like 2 other times in a couple turns. And then that crit really mattered and it was able to help me, thank God. But game 2, I was like, yo, I can't have no more stressful games. I need to win. My heart rate's probably like 1 billion. If I had an Apple Watch, it probably would have told me I was about to die. So I load in game 2, I just lead Urshifu, Tornadus. Set up a Rain Dance and just sweep through his team because he decided to bring T-Tar and Excadrill. And it was literally over in turn 2. Like, it was just, Excadrill went down, and he went for a Terra Blast with his Tyranitar, Terra Flying, and my Urshifu did not go down, which was surprising. I thought it would go down, but it didn't. And he brought in Ho-Oh next. He'd already burned a Terra, couldn't get out of that fire weakness. You can't protect on it. Another Surging Strikes, it was done. He went for a Rock Slide, and it missed Urshifu and Torn. And yeah, I was just able to run away with the game at that point. So 2-2, your boy was feeling good. Still probably not gonna make stream, but the dream of going positive was now alive again. Now going into round 5, at this point I'd still seen a different legendary every time, which is surprising. But in round 5, again, like I said, I pulled another different mod. I pulled a Rayquaza, and the team around it was kind of cool, but kind of interesting, as you can see. Now game number 1, I was like, at this point, Urshifu has brought me back 2 rounds. It has saved me. Why not lead with Torn Ursh again? And my opponent led with Incin. My opponent had led with Incin Weezing. Now, Weezing burned me on turn 2, but again, my opponents just disrespected my Urshifu and just let it keep Surging Strikes, Aqua Jetting, close combating things, which was nice. So I ran away with game 1. It was very surprising that my opponent let me do that. Game number 2, I think he realized I'm not bringing Weezing, so he did not do that. And I'm not gonna lie, I disrespected Rayquaza because I thought it was a weak legendary, and it ran away with the game, and it tore me up. Now, this is my first game 3 of the entire weekend. And I was a little nervous, but your boy clutched it out. I don't know how, but he allowed me to get a knockoff on his Rayquaza. He allowed me to just pivot in and out with Instant. I was able to just basically make Rayquaza do nothing. And Zacian could just run through the rest of his teammates because he again forgot Instant. So hey, your boy's 3-2. Looking pretty good, might have a chance at day 2, and just the dream of going positive is alive. So before we start round 5, the announcers come over the intercom and let us know, A, there's only gonna be 2 more rounds for today, because tomorrow y'all boys are gonna have to come back. And at this point, I'm sitting at 2-2, and I'm like, I may or may not come back, depends on how I go. But if I do come back, no matter what, your boy's like that, he day 2 this first event. Clap it up for me, for real, y'all. But seriously, I was gonna need to win out the rest of my events if I wanted to make the real day 2. And coming into this next game, I had never seen this team before. It was a Lunala. Like, dog, what the fuck? Lunala apparently had been popping off during the stream games. I wouldn't know because I was playing. But it was a team I'd never practiced before. But shout outs to my GOAT, Fast Usain Bolt Instant, because he was just allowing me to knock off the Power Herb on Lunala, which saved me a lot of times, because sometimes he would try to go for Meteor Beam first turn and it worked out. But it was a stressful 3-game set. Game 1 was pretty quick to me, but I think that's my opponent didn't expect me to go for knockoff and probably was expecting fake outs. Game 2 though was a long drawn out game where he put like everything to sleep with his Amoonguss, got us in Trick Room. I couldn't do anything. Now game 3 started off bad like game 2. He got us in Trick Room again and he was spoiling a lot of things. But I think my opponent got a little too greedy because all I had left at one point was just Zacian and Instant against his Lunala, Amoonguss, and another Instant. Now somehow, I don't even remember how, he allowed, and And for some reason, he decided he wasn't gonna keep putting on the pressure on my Zacian or Incineroar and would just bulk up his Lunala and Calm Mind and just Pollen Puff, which was bad because we eventually got out of Trick Room and my Mons finally woke up. Now, Incin was able to just knock off and I was able to go for a Behemoth Blade and just take care of Lunala. And now Amoonguss was sitting here by itself against my Incineroar and Zacian. Now my opponent was able to bring his Incin, and I just protected on my Zacian, went for a Flare Blitz into his Amoonguss and took it out. Now it's a 2v1, and it's a 2v1 you can't come back for. And it's a 2v1 you can't come back from because, I mean, Zacian's still going to put in that work, intimidated or not. So your boy put out a stressful set, another round of 3, but I did it. I'm now 3-2. Now I know going into this last round, it's the last round of the day, but if I win, my day 2 dreams are still alive, and maybe my dreams of coming on stream are still up there. But I know almost for sure my dreams of going positive are there. But going into this last round, I sit down, talk to my opponent. It's also his first event. Now as we're talking, game number 1 is being done, and I honestly made work of his insane team. And I honestly made work of his very standard team, as you can see here. It was just the Zamazenta Body Press team. I played against him multiple times, I gotten used to it. I mean, 3 of my Pokemon had Terra Ghost, so it was not too bad. But game number 2, I don't know what happened, but he just straight up beat me. Like, it was quick. But game 3, I needed this game to keep my day 2 dream alive. I mean, I was coming back for day 2 no matter what because I was playing my 2 extra rounds. I paid money to be here, I'm gonna get what I paid for. But going into game number 3, I burned his Zamazenta off a Flare Blitz on like turn 3, which turns the tide of this game very fast, I'm not gonna lie. But as the game whittles along, board states continue to happen. I don't even know how I got in this state. But left was his Galarian Moltres and his Politoed against my Zacian and my Tornadus. Now, your boy didn't take any notes at this event, which was bad because most other players were taking notes the entire time. But me, I was just trying to keep things mental in my head, which ended up biting me in the ass here because I forgot if his Pokemon were faster than mine. I knew my Zacian was going to be the fastest thing out there, but my Torn, I was not sure if it was going to be faster than his Moltres. Now that was bad because I ended up going for a Tailwind and a Play Rough into his Moltres while his Politoed and Moltres were sitting there. He protected on Moltres, and he went for Muddy Water, which took out my Torn and just left my Zacian versus his Moltres and his Politoed. Now the rain is up for at least 4 more turns, so this Muddy Water is starting to add up. But I go for a Play Rough, take down his Moltres, and now it's just Pelipper. And now it's just Politoed and Zacian. But there's one problem. He went for Muddy Water again and my accuracy dropped. Now his Politoed's at 50% HP. Behemoth Blade is not going to do enough damage and there's still 2 turns left to rain. I cannot stall it out. I need to hit this thing. But I lost accuracy after that Muddy Water. And this move is already 90% accurate in Play Rough, which I need to hit. And I've already missed it like 3 other times in this tournament. Now I'm talking to my opponent. He's like, oh man, good game. You know, he's like, you won this, I didn't think. He's like, it was just fun to be here. And I was like, yo, it's fun to be here too, but it's getting a little sketch, dude. There's an accuracy drop on me. And he's like, I don't know. But we play it out. Now my friends have already finished their game, so they're coming around to watch. I literally click this button and I'm praying like this, dog. And I can't stand it, so I stand up. And I'm like, nigga, please hit this move. When I tell you this nigga did not hit this fucking move, oh my God. My stomach dropped to my ass, dog. Like, I was just sitting there in disbelief. Like, if I hit this Play Rough, it was over. Your boy would have been 5-2. The dream of just going positive would have been there. I would have still had a chance to stream. I would have had a chance of making day 2. Like, I just would have had to come back the next day and win 2 rounds. But your boy lost. Now, like I said, I paid for that money to come to the next day. I'm coming to that next fucking day. But I go out with the homies at night and my girl. We go out to eat, drink, good time, but it's like, damn, I really gotta be up at 7 a.m. again tomorrow to know I'm not even gonna make day 2. I don't know why I went, but it was worth going. I still had my dream of making stream or even just, stream dream was dead at this point. It was over, it was cooked. The day 2 dream, it wasn't really a real dream of mine, but it's cooked. But positive dream, still there. So I show up to the event. So many people are showing up late to this, keep in mind. So I'm sitting at my table. My opponent's not coming. The judge is standing next to me and I'm like, dog, how long I gotta wait for my opponent to not show up to get like a game 1 or a game 2 win? It's like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, what time we start counting? They started at 7:45 on the dot. So like everyone who was not there or started showing up at 7:45, they're in a little bit of trouble because Yeah, they were not being lenient with that at all. So it hits 750. My opponent's not there. I get a game 1 win. Then I see a dude walking down the aisle, and I'm like, oh shit, here comes my opponent. And it wasn't my opponent. There was a table next to me that was empty as well. Dude sat down, he's like, my opponent's not here? And I was like, nah, no one's here. Just me and you at this table. So he gets a win, I got a win. Then another 5 minutes go by. Your boy got a free win. Your boy hit 5 and 3. The dream of going positive is officially completed. I went positive at my first event. Now I could have quit there, I'm not gonna lie. But I paid, like I said, I paid them $70. I'm gonna get the full money's worth of them $70. So I stayed for round 7. 9, I'm slow. I can't do math. So I'm here for round 9. Homie walks up, chill dude, talk to him for a little bit. It is also his first event. And he shows me his team after he hands me his team sheet. It's another Zamazenta team. Now, I should have beat my Zamazenta matchup the first time. I didn't, but whatever. So going into game number 1, I'm cooking him. I get down to his last mon. I think I have 3 mons left. He has 1. And it's Zama. I'd already burned a Terra. So, I mean, I didn't have any more Terra Ghost options. Zama still has a great chance to do damage to my team. Dude looks at his switch and he goes, oh, damn. And I'm like, yo, what happened, man? He goes, I left my Zamazenta. I brought Pelipper. Boy, guaranteed win for me. Let's fucking go. Game 2, though. He brings his Zamazenta. I don't even remember the game. All I know is this game was literally going on for like 15 minutes. It took forever. Just we were stalling, switching. Good game. He won. And we're both talking, and he's like, yeah, man, my goal is just to go positive too, but we're both here. He's like, I just want to go 6 and 3 at this point. I'm like, nigga, I'm going to go 6 and 3. I didn't tell him that, but that's what I was telling myself. You got to be your biggest hype man, you know? We get into this game. I tell you, it was like a fever dream. I don't even remember what happened at all, straight up. All I remember is I won. Like, dog, I won. I went 6 and 3 at my first tournament. I was telling some of the homies, I mean, sheesh. They were like, oh, damn, that's pretty good. I think I did the best out of everybody in the Arizona squad except 3 guys. One guy I'd never met before. He made top 8. Zachary Thornburg, I'd met him once before. He was in top cut for a while, and then he just barely missed out on, I think, top 8, but he was still like top 14. So, dude's a demon. But the buddy Kean I was talking about, dude was like 3rd out of everybody at the tournament so far. So he was going off. And I'm like, damn. I'm gonna stay and watch him play his next games. But no, my girlfriend wanted to go do shit. But hey, I couldn't complain. We're in LA, we might as well go do stuff. I mean, she's been stuck watching me play Pokemon, so shout outs to her. We went to Echo Park, we got on some duck, we got on some goose, pedaled around the water. It was actually really fun. But I kept checking in on the tournament, see how it was going, asking the Arizona boys. Kean was still winning. Dog was just winning and winning and winning. And I'm like, yo, we gotta go back and watch and support the homies. I mean, shit, I went 6 and 3. The homie's like 19 and fucking 0. I mean, not really. He was like, I think he was like 14 and 1, 14 and 2, something like that. We get there, we watch his top 8 match. He wins. And I'm like, dog, he could win the whole thing. And somewhat, he saved my dream of getting on stream. I'm not gonna lie. He shouted out the whole Arizona gang. Shout outs to him for that. Here's the clip.
Any shout outs to anybody at home you want to give?
Yeah, just so my parents first and foremost for just giving me this opportunity. I'm so blessed. And then the friends from AZ, Jose, Cam, and all of them.
So technically your boy made stream. I met all my goals, I met all my dreams for my first ever regional, except somehow winning it. I mean, that was a dream, but shit was a shot in the dark. Homie loses the next round, sucks, but he got 3rd place at the entire event. Congratulations. And then the standings come out. Now, the way Pokemon tournament standings work, there's like so many people. There's like top 8, you know, 1st and 2nd place, top 8, top 16, top 64, the top 128, top 256. Now, if you make top 128, sometimes your teams go on websites, people actually review them. And I was like, yo, I went 6 and 3. My team might make it. Nigga, I had the worst 6 and 3 resistance, so I barely missed out on top 128 by like 5 slots. Like, dog, are you kidding? 5 slots, not even 5 slots. I think it was 3. I placed 130. No, it was like 5 slots. I placed like 133. But, I mean, it was my first regional. It was a great time. Everything but the internet connection was a great fucking time. Now, I recommend, if you've never been to a Pokemon regional, you need to go. Because I need to farm you. Because next season, your boy is going to try to compete for Worlds. Now, I know you're thinking, looking at me like, nigga, you crazy? But if I can elevate off what I just did at my first event, yes, I know I was the worst 6-3 there based off resistance. Actually, I was the second worst. Shout outs to whoever was below me. I'm gonna put you up there because you to go for that. If I was the worst 6-3, that would have sucked. But if I can go 6-3 or better at every tournament and try to win out, maybe even make a top something at one of these, it would be awesome. So I'm gonna need you to follow me, hit that sub button, and watch me try to achieve my goal of becoming the Pokemon World Champion. Now, if you made it here, why not check out one of the other videos I got and hit subscribe? I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.